Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Loyola University Black Alumni Board Black Light Speaker Series. I'm going to give this a couple more minutes to allow a few more people to join, and we'll get started in less than a minute. Thank you. Okay, I don't see more people joining, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with today's event. Thank you again for joining. I just want to remind everyone the purpose of tonight's event. We do this every other month, and I always like to start with the purpose. The purpose of this session is to bring to the community, the session is to bring the community together to illuminate Black Loyola University Chicago alumni through this Loyola University Chicago Black Alumni Board Blacklight Speaker Series. Today, I'm going to be your moderator. My name is Rochelle Felix Blackman, and everyone calls me Rocky. I support the member relations team here on the board. And in my normal life, I work in professional services. I am a global leader for Amazon Web Services. I graduated from Loyola way back in the day with a with a degree in biology from the College of Arts and Science, and I majored in Black World Studies. Fun fact about me is that I used to be the president of BCC. I know BCC is still around today, but I used to be the president of BCC back in my day, and on the board of many other student organizations. I'm based right here in Chicago, and I live here with my husband and my son. So for today's agenda, we're going to go through the board. I'm going to talk you through who's on the board and who's supporting us this year. We're going to go through the introduction of the Black Light Speaker Series itself. I'll be interviewing our guest of honor. I'm super excited to bring you our guest tonight because I know him personally, so really great information today. And then we'll break out and have some time for Q&A and some closing remarks. So the illustrious board. We have our president, Karen Fleshman, our treasurer, Jay Yancey, our vice president of student relations and member relations. She wears two hats, you all, Shakira Richards. We have Genesis, who's the VP of communications. Myself, I'm the member relations manager, and our social media manager, who actually brought me onto this board. And thank you so much for this. And that's Dawn. And I'm going to mess up the last name, so I apologize. And I also know her personally before joining the board, so really dear friend. So the Blacklight Speaker Series is one of my favorites, and that's why I'm connected to this one. The series name is derived from the special purpose of a blacklight. You all know what a blacklight is. The purpose of a blacklight is to illuminate things that are hidden. So the goal of this series is to illuminate Black alumni and how they've carried Loyola's mission and principles into their communities, their work, their professional lives, and their causes. So for tonight's special guest is Jason Malone. Jason Malone, Chief Development Officer of College Career and Beyond, formerly called Midnight Golf Program. He's a part owner in a local Detroit dispensary, and he is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, ice cold, a proud Detroiter, social impact leader, and Loyola alum. Jason has dedicated over 20 years of his life to mentoring youth and driving meaningful change in his community through education, leadership, and the game of golf. As a co-visionary behind one of Detroit's most transformative youth programs, Jason has more helped more than 3,500 young adults to unlock new paths to academic and professional success. And In today's conversation, he'll share his powerful journey I'm sorry, my screen is blocked, from Loyola to launching a life changing movement with his mother and empowering the next generation of Black leaders. So, I am so happy to have you here today, Jason. Welcome to the Blacklight Speaker Series.
Rocky, it is so great to see you, my friend. It seems like it's been forever. So proud of the work that you're doing and to the board, the Black Alumni Board for Loyola University. Thank you for having me this evening. I hope I do you all well.
You will. You've already, just with this intro alone, you've already done us well. So I'm going to get into the questions. We have a ton of riveting questions. I've been known to be a bit of an Oprah Winfrey with my questions, so you might cry. So get ready.
Oh, I know. Nothing's changed.
All right, let's start with your story. From Loyola to leading one of Detroit's most transformative youth programs, what moment or experience sparked your passion for mentorship and youth empowerment?
Sure. My journey to and through Loyola was very interesting, right? So I born and raised west side of Detroit. And I grew up playing golf, and I grew up in a really, really rough part of the city. And it was golf that kept me on the straight and narrow. And my mom, who was a social worker with the state of Michigan for 35 years, my mom had always, did her best to expose me to different things, to keep me on the straight and narrow, and to just ultimately show me that if you worked hard at whatever you wanted in life, you can have. And so I attended, I had a number of other schools that I was interested in, and it ended up being Chicago, it ended up being Loyola. And um, for me, golf was my outlet to look at life from a different vantage point. And I had the just the as you have here on the screen, transformative. I had a transformative experience through golf, and I just wanted to share that experience with other young people that look like me, that talk like me, who grew up in neighborhoods similar to my neighborhood where I grew up at. I had the privilege of attending an all-boy Jesuit high school in Detroit, University of Detroit Jesuit High School. And it was a combination of the high school and golf that kind of allowed me to look at life again from a different vantage point. And so being able to have that Jesuit experience and then carry it over to Loyola, being a man for others and giving back is at the core of what the Jesuits mission is. It's at the core of how I was raised. And we just wanted to do something that was different. The way that I figured, I told my mom I was on the way to walk, to athlete orientation, and I was at a national tournament in Disney World, and I told my mom, I'm like, you know what, we should start a golf program. And my mom's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, let's start a golf program. Um, Now at the time, my mom knew nothing about golf. She was like, golf, like you couldn't tell her what a putter or a driver was. She couldn't tell you what it was. But the one time that my mom listened to me, because parents don't listen to you. I'm just thankful that she did listen to me this one time because she saw. Um, the importance and she saw the change that golf was doing for me in my life.
Love it. You said something in there that sparked a thought in my head about passing this information down or this experience down to people who look like you, talk like you, have a same background as you. And we always hear representation matters. And you don't think you can do it until you see people who look like you, or like you said, talk like you, walk like you, have the same experience as you, do those things. And you're like, I think I can do that. I think I can go to Loyola. I think I can play golf. And I think that's great that you saw that opportunity and went for it. So you helped inspire your mother to start what's now college, career, and beyond. What was that mother-son collaboration like in the early days, and what lessons did it teach you about leadership and legacy?
Yeah, so like when we first, I go away to school. I'm at Loyola in August for orientation, I- and I'm like, you know what? I'm a good golfer. I think at the time I was coming out of high school, I was a six handicap. I was the number one minority golfer in the state of Michigan, and I'm like, okay, well, I think I can play. It's funny, I was playing today, and none of that showed. It's the time I played in a very long time, and none of that showed today. However, I get to school and I'm like, yeah, these kids are on a whole nother level. And I knew that would be the case. And I had come home for winter break, and I was gonna break the news to my mom. Like, mom, this ain't working. This ain't cutting it no more. And uh, she had went door to door in one of our housing projects and had got 17 young people. And she told them that she was gonna feed them, more important, because you got to think kids from the projects could give two cares less about golf. But
Mm-hmm.
if you tell them you're gonna feed them and they don't have to pay for it, that was the catch. And so she told them, "Hey, I'm gonna feed you guys," and that was the start of what we created. And so, working with my mom now, looking back at the hard work, the many long nights that we had, working with young people and watching her lead. My mom led through her actions.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was more so like, how do I lead in my own way? And how do I impact others similar to how my mom has impacted folks, the young people? And it's simple, it's through love. You know, our young people are searching, trying to find themselves. They're looking for their identity. And in many instances, the population in which we serve, they don't have that support system. They don't have those wraparound services that I had growing up. I was blessed. My father was killed in a car accident when I was 12. So I was
Mm-hmm.
blessed to have a mom, my grandmother. I had a great aunt. I had three strong women who raised me.
Mm-hmm.
And out of respect for them, I could have easily, where I grew up at, I could have easily went left. Easily went left. But I saw how
Mm-hmm.
hard they worked and how much they poured into me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta stay focused, and I gotta do something with my life. And so, it's I take that, and I looked at how my mom, for the past 25 years, we're going into our 25th year for the program,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at the amount of love, the amount of excuse me, the amount of care,
Mm-hmm.
um, just everything that my mom has given, and the folks that help support our program. We have roughly 60 mentors that come twice a week over the course of 9 months that donate their time. They become family to us as well, and I see the impact is that these people have made. And what I've learned from that is, how can I become a better leader through others' actions and watching other people lead, so that I can make my impact in a more impactful way.
I love that. I love that story. Um, it- this is kind of left, but you mentioned the way that you would lead is through love, and this person might be kind of crazy, but he was right. Kanye West said the answer to everything that's wrong in this world is love, and you just said it today.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to be
He
associated with.
was right. I'm just saying he
I
was
don't,
right.
yeah,
He had the
yeah, yeah.
answers.
Back then,
Kanye, Kanye had the answers.
back
All
then.
right. Golf plays such a unique role in the program. So, what is it about the sport that makes it such a powerful tool for teaching life skills and building confidence?
My first internship in Chicago was with, it's no longer this bank, but it was Harris Bank. Remember Harris Bank? And
Mm-hmm.
there was a brother by the name of Dwight Floyd. I'll never forget Dwight. Dwight was from Detroit. Dwight was an alpha, and I was going through the process of becoming an alpha, and they did a career fair in Mertz Hall. And
Mm,
Dwight came, and I went up and I introduced myself. I gave him my resume. I told him I was from Detroit. And when I tell you that, the first question he asked me was, "Do you play golf?" And I said, "I play a little bit." And I got to telling him about the program then. And so he hired me on the spot for the internship. I was the first intern in Harris Bank's private banking department.
wow.
From Loyola, and it was golf that actually opened that door for me. So when you ask the
Wow.
question of why golf, golf has always been the opportunities, the lessons learned. Golf is not a team sport. Golf is all about you and the tool that you have between your two ears here.
Mhm.
And that's very similar, very parallel to life, right? And that's what I had learned over I've been playing golf since I was 9 years old. So,
Mm.
at that time, I was just picking up on all of that, right? Like my street smarts was allowing me to look at things from a different vantage point. My education, going to the school that I attended, my friends, I've always had a very diverse peer group. And so golf has opened up so many doors for me. Why not golf, right?
Mhm.
We tell our young people golf, and to believe it or not, golf is 10% of our program, right? Golf is the vehicle that we use to deliver all the imperative life skills, all um the necessary tools for our young people to be successful. We just do it through the game of golf. And a lot of deals have been done on the golf course. You mentioned earlier, I'm a proprietor of one of the largest marijuana manufacturers in the state of Michigan. My partners are, and that deal happened on the golf course, right? It has opened so many doors, not just for me, but for the young people. Now that they take it, they utilize it and they use it as a tool to help them get to the levels that they're trying to reach.
That's amazing. That story was powerful. I bet you if I took a survey right now of everybody listening, how many of you are interested in taking up golf? 100%. I'll be I believe it. Thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful. Now, do you remember a moment on the golf course, either as a student or a mentor, that felt like a metaphor for the life lessons you're trying to instill?
That's a good question, Rocky. I would say, and this happened when I first moved to Chicago to go to school at Loyola. I was I was trying my best to fit in, right? Here I am. I'm a kid from Detroit. I'm not from I don't know my way around. I got these golf clubs in my dorm. Like I don't, I'm trying to figure out what's what, who's who. Um and I realized at a point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just be me. Just be me. And the uniqueness that golf has allowed me to step into my own, for the longest I kind of ran from it as a young person.
Mm-hmm.
Only because my friends, like my peer group, the most of my peer group growing up from my neighborhood, nobody played golf. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my friends in high school, my teammates, a lot of my, to this day, I keep in contact with a lot of my friends from high school. They all play. And so it's like, if I'm accepted by them and I'm accepted by the guys from my neighborhood, who am I trying to impress? Just go be you.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I instill that, we all come from different backgrounds and different upbringings, but what makes us unique is who we are and what we stand for and how we represent ourselves. And what better way to represent myself than something that I've always loved, that I've learned so much from, in a game that has allowed me to essentially pour into others that look like me. Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
that for the longest, I ran from that, but now it's like, well, this is who I am, and I'm not.
Yeah.
This is what it is, and it's worked. In my short 43 years, I think it's worked.
Obviously, I mean, you have a beautiful family, a successful career. Being Jason Malone has worked 100%. So I'm glad you decided to show up as you because everybody else is taken. Be you. All right.
Did that answer your question? I just want to make sure that
It
I'm
absolutely did. So,
okay.
that moment for you as a student come trying to fit in life and you talk that directly correlates to the game of golf, I appreciate that response and the transparency in that answer. So I have a statistic here. You let me know if I got it right. Over 3,500 young people have come through your program. Is that right?
Almost 5,000.
Wow. I was close, and I wasn't.
You were
3,500
right.
young
You
people
were
have
right,
come through
though.
the program at one
You
point.
were right. You
You
were
guys are
right.
growing. You guys are growing, and that's amazing. What patterns or transformations have stood out to you over the years in terms of how students grow and evolve? You've seen so many kids come through that program. What patterns do you see? Like how they come in, how do they show up to you, and then when they leave your program, who are they when they leave?
Yeah, it's so I would say up until 2012, 2013, we averaged about 100 young people, give or take. It was not what it is now. We had a very generous donor come and essentially double our programmatic efforts. Um,
Wow.
he increased our staffing because he saw what was happening. He saw that, again, as I said before, golf is only 10%. From the importance of writing handwritten thank you notes to uh, understanding credit to, you know, table etiquette. A lot of our young people, that we take on, they don't even understand proper table placement.
Mm,
So we're giving our kids any and everything that it takes to be successful, right? It's a 30-week program, and the way that the program works, I know people are, well, why is it midnight golf and how does it work?
mm-hmm,
So the way that it works is it's a 30-week program, and we take young people from 75 different high schools across southeastern Michigan. We got kids that drive uh, every other day 40 miles to where we're at, we're facilitating the program at, and then back home. Um, and so the way that it works is through the generosity of our previous board chair. He doubled our programming. So the kids coincide with the Detroit Public School System's school calendar. So
mm-hmm,
from 5:30 to 8:30, it's an after school program, and from 5:30 to 8:30, they get presenter, and the presenter, he or she will speak on, for the first half of the program, any and everything on, again, about being successful. So one day you
mm-hmm,
may have someone coming in talking about, again, the importance of writing handwritten thank you notes. The next day, somebody may come in and talk about, the art of negotiating. We teach them about the stock market. Like, we teach these young kids everything. And so we have two cohorts. This year we had our graduating class this year, excuse me, all 100% who are attending college. We had
mm,
262 young people that graduated from our cohort this year. We had two cohorts, Monday, Wednesday, and a Tuesday, Thursday. So once they enter the session, they sit and they listen to the presenter. Once the presenter is done speaking, we feed our young people. And so you think it's an after school program, there's snacks available. Well, since we started doing this, I told you that my mom, her biggest thing was, I, the hook was feeding the young people, right? Because a lot
right.
of the kids from the community, they don't have food. And so we feed our young people a full meal. Um, you name it, they get it, from a starch, a protein, a vegetable. And after school programs do have snacks, but families have dinners,
Mm, mm-hmm.
right?
That's big. Mm-hmm.
And so, like, to a lot of our kids, we are their families,
Mm,
our mentors. My mom, hell, myself, I'm getting calls, 10, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm the big bro. Hey, big bro, I need to talk to you about, I got
mm-hmm.
this going on, and what do you think about this, and what about this? And so that relationship starts in high school, and then we foster them through their collegiate experience. And so
Right.
after they're done eating, we break into two sessions. One is which is called tea time. It's a double play on golf
Yeah.
tea time, but the other play on it is tea time, like women would have in
Mm-hmm.
London, to talk about whatever worldly issues that was the topic of discussion. So
Mm-hmm.
half the cohort will go to tea time, and then the other half, we partner with the PGA of America, the Michigan section. They teach our young people, for the course of the 9 months, they get golf lessons. So the tea time is what really drives the program. The tea time is it's a carryover from the presenter, what he or she had to speak about for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation is that there are questions pertaining to each of the of the topic for the day. The
Mm-hmm.
mentors kind of ask the questions, but the young people, they guide the conversation, right? So like you'll have, and again, as I mentioned, we cover 75 different high schools. So you may have a high school from a really, really rough area, a kid from a really rough area, from a really bad high school in the city. You mix that young person with someone from like a what's the all boy high school, Rocky and the
In
Burbs?
Chicago,
Yeah,
there's Brother Rice, there's
Brother
Marist,
Rice.
there's yeah.
So you got a
Mm-hmm.
kid from Brother Rice, sitting next to a kid from Hyde Park, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
saying that Hyde Park's a bad high school. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Right.
you get the dynamics, and what it is
Yeah.
it's peer-to-peer mentoring. And
Fair.
these young people, they lower their barriers and they just allow themselves to be young people. And the
Mm-hmm.
questions are geared towards how do you respond in the process, and how would how would you behave, or how does this
Mm-hmm.
make you feel?
Love it.
So from the very first day, obviously these kids come in, they don't know each other. Some may know some each other, but most of the time they all don't know each other. And so they got these barriers up. But once they get through the halfway point, you start to see the barriers come down.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the program, they're brothers and sisters. They're going to prom
Love it.
together. I mean, it's they become a true cohort. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's the real evolution. They're asking questions. They're curious about, you know, things that what is college going to be like. And then
Mm-hmm.
we also have currently we have a little bit over 1,200 young people currently in college right now across the
Mm-hmm.
country. Since our inception, we put more than 170 colleges. So we got kids at Pepperdine, we got kids at Harvard.
Wow.
I have a young lady right now. She's getting her MBA from Harvard. Her dad
Wow.
just stroked the check to put her through Harvard B school, right? So we're very proud of that. But we
You
see
mentioned a
that,
few even came to Loyola.
yeah, we got a few young people at Loyola. I,
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you prior to
Mm-hmm.
TJ Barrow. Shout out to little TJ. I call him little TJ. He's like a little brother to me. TJ actually attended the high school that I attended here in Detroit, went to Loyola, pledged Alpha, my chapter, and my best friend now lives in Chicago, is a director for Eli Lilly. TJ, his first job out of college was for my best friend working for Eli.
That's
So,
awesome.
the golf is it's
Golf
allowed
is the
that
vehicle. Mm-hmm.
it's allowed all that to kind of happen for TJ, as TJ being the example that we
Mm-hmm.
just talked about. Yeah. So we see a ton
Wonderful.
of transformation from the beginning all the way to now. We got young people buying houses. I had a young
Mm.
man at one of the accounting firms here that I've been working with. His father's doing 2 life sentences right now.
Mm.
He graduated from Michigan State University. He's in the process of taking a CPA exam. And he called me the other day. He's like, "Hey man, what you think about this wallet?" It's like the questions that he
You
didn't.
become family, like you said. That's a family question. I love that. Yep.
Yep, yep.
Yep. Well, that's a beautiful story. I love to hear that growth and development in the students that come through your program. And that's what you expect to, with a program like that, the way you've described it, that's what I expect to see. Now, College Career and Beyond recently rebranded from the Midnight Golf Program. What does this shift represent, and how does it reflect the evolving mission and future of the organization?
Yeah. So when we started the program, as I mentioned, my mom was a social worker, and there was a national program called Midnight Basketball. Midnight Basketball was in every major urban community, and the goal of Midnight Basketball was to get kids off the street during the late hours because that's when kids would do
Mm-hmm.
most of the bad things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a gentleman by the name of Charles Turner, who was a former Harlem Globetrotter, was working on a project here in Detroit, and was working with my mom in the community. And, this is leading up to 2001 when we
Mm-hmm.
launched. She's like, my son's got this crazy idea about starting this golf program. I don't know nothing about golf. What should I call it? He's like, well, call it Midnight Golf. Like, and you can utilize this facility that we have here,
Mm.
once you get going. He had a gym on the east side of Detroit. And sure enough, that's what it was. But we soon realized that, as I previously said, golf is only 10% of what we do. We're a college success program,
Got it.
right? Like our goal is to make sure that our young people are have the necessary skills to be prepared to get to college. And then,
Mm-hmm.
once the donor that I previously mentioned to you came aboard, we had a young man who he was at Georgia Tech. He was a
Mm-hmm.
freshman at Georgia Tech, finished his first year with a 3.75. Um, Came home, and my mom was at a luncheon, and she came out the restaurant, and the equivalent to ComEd in Chicago is DTE here in
Mm-hmm.
Detroit, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
there's a man on the pole fixing one of the electrical lines, and he screams down. All the kids know my mom affectionately as Miss Renee. My
Mm-hmm.
mom's name is Renee. So he goes, "Hey, Miss Renee." She looks up, and it was Darius. So she's like, "Come down here." So comes down, and she's like, "What are you doing home?" He was like, "Well, I didn't have enough money to get back to Georgia Tech, so I transferred to Wayne State." Wayne State,
Mm.
for my Chicago folks, Wayne State is equivalent to like a UIC. It's a city school. It has a big presence in the city. And so we found out that it was $800 was the reason why that young man couldn't, right? 800 bucks. So, and he graduated and he's doing well and he's got a great job and family, the
Mm-hmm.
whole nine. But what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Right.
what if he could have stayed there? And so the name change came because, and it's really not a name change. College Career and Beyond had been our slogan for many, many, many years. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
midnight golf program, and underneath that, underneath our marketing would be College Career Beyond. Well, we just flipped it. And so
Yeah.
if you think of, since we're in Detroit, we'll use General Motors. Everybody knows GM. So General Motors is the head of the company. But you also have Chevy, you have Buick, you have Cadillac, you have all these different brands, these own separate entities, these own businesses, but they all fall underneath the brand. Um, we were applying for a state of Michigan grant, and some folks who we had the relationship with at the state goes, it's going to be hard to support a golf program, and we're like,
Mm.
let's just switch it. And so part of that College Career Beyond is the General Motors. The Midnight Golf Program, which is our high school component of the work that we do, is our Chevy. And then our College Persistence Program is our Cadillac. We have four college persistent coaches. We have a whole team dedicated towards helping our young people see their way through college. So we
That's
have a
beautiful.
relationship with the clearinghouse. They get access to their grades. They follow them. We make sure that the kids, depending on what schools that they're going to, you may want to go to Spelman. Well, Spelman may not be the best look for you because you may not have the money to go to Spelman. But what about Norfolk State? We have a
Mm.
relationship. We have ten institutions right now that are partner organizations, partner schools with us.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. Delaware State University in Delaware, we
Mm-hmm.
currently have, I want to say, a little bit over 35 students at Delaware State right now. They were so impressed with our young people, they created a scholarship for the kids that attend our only Midnight Golf kids can get this scholarship. So
Wow.
it's not that the name is really more so geared towards the rebranding is, I should say, is more so geared towards the work that we've been doing. The Midnight Golf
Mm-hmm.
program, the name in this community. I mean, for the past 3 years, put it this way, we've had at our orientation, we've had more than 2,500 applications for 260 slots. It's harder to get in our program than it is at Harvard.
Wow.
We turn down more young people than we can help,
Wow. And you
right?
only accept 10%. That's crazy. I love
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I'm just thinking about how it's going to look when you expand nationally. That's a beautiful thing.
You got to have the right, we have to have the right partnership. For a very stint time, we were in South Florida, so there was a midnight golf, South Florida.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, it was my sophomore year at Loyola when we launched Midnight Golf South Florida, and it was successful. And we had to shut it down. The executive director, the ED down there, uh,
Mhm.
he got a job in Orlando, and he didn't have the support system to
Got it.
kind of sustain it. So
Got it.
you got to have the right partnerships. You got to have the right people in place. There has to be a really good mix of and corporate and private and public partnership has to be at the table. We're blessed here to receive funding from a lot of the national foundations, the local foundations here that support us, the Kresge Foundation, the Skillman Foundation, the Jamie and Denise Jacobs Foundation are strong supporters of us. So
Mhm.
we have some really, really, really strong partners. Rocket, which is Rocket Mortgage,
Mhm.
the nation's largest leader in home mortgages.
Mhm.
They employ, I'd say, on average 40 young people every summer for internships. So there has to be a good mix of public-private partnership for it to
Mhm.
work. But more importantly, you got to have the people that really love and want to see young people develop. That's the
That's true.
key.
That's true. That is definitely the part of, like you said, love. That's the
Yep.
answer. Yep. Um, promise. Two more questions, and that I'm gonna
Oh,
let you
all
go. I'm not
good.
gonna hold you. Two more
Rocky, I'm here
questions.
for you. I'm here for you, homie. I'm here for
All
you.
right. So you've mentored for over 2 decades. I keep pounding that in, don't I? But for over 2 decades, what makes a great mentor, and how can everyday people, especially the alum that are listening today, how can they step into that role for the next generation?
Listen, I th- I think leadership starts with listening first.
Hmm.
I think understanding what the task is at hand. Right? Everybody wants to be the chief. No one wants to be the Indian.
Hmm.
But the Indians are the ones that get the job done.
Hmm.
And in order to be a chief, you have to know how to do the work. And so I say that to say you have to listen first. You have to be able to put your differences aside for the betterment of the mission. I think we fail to do that, particularly now as a country, regardless of which way you lean.
Hmm.
I think our leaders have failed us. Our leaders have failed um, our young people because they're not listening to what these young people are asking for. Right? Our young
Hmm.
people are screaming for attention.
Hmm.
At the core of it, I told you it's love. Our young people need love, and they're not getting it. They're not getting it from
Hmm.
their homes. They're not getting it from the mentors. They're not getting it from their communities. Um,
Hmm.
so I think once you understand all of that, and you at the macro level, right? Leading is putting the mission ahead of your own personal interests
Hmm.
and getting the job done, being relentless to get the job done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to be relentless. You got to listen. You got to be relentless. You have to have grit, just like our young people. You have to have grit. You have to have determination. Um, you have to have drive. You got to want it. Either you
Hmm.
got it or you don't. And
Hmm.
if you don't know what it is to have it, if you've never seen that before, how are
Hmm.
you expected to get there?
Yeah.
I tell our team daily when I'm in the office, what got us here, and my mom and I, we struggle with this a lot. What got us here won't get us there. It took some exceptional things, It took some yeoman's work, if you will, to get us to where we are.
Hmm.
But to get there, now that's a different story,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Leadership is understanding that and and then putting it into play.
I love that. All right. I believe I have one. No, I have two more questions. I lied to you. So I'm gonna actually um I'm going to go to the last question because I
Okay.
think this is probably this the second to last question because I think this one is impactful. I think you had something to say about this earlier, but let's take it full circle. As a Loyola alum returning to speak with students, and again, this is a very special moment because you and I we know each other personally. I love this whole full circle moment that's happening today, and it speaks volumes of what you've accomplished. But as a Loyola alum returning to speak with students and fellow graduates, what advice would you give your college age self? And what do you hope today's students would take from your journey?
Yeah, I think I was so and rightfully so, right? Like my mom was very sheltering towards me growing up. Like I couldn't,
Hmm.
I grew up on a the 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 main street that that I essentially grew up off of was called Finkel Avenue. And
Hmm.
for my Chicago folks, you got 8 Mile, the movie 8 Mile, and then
Hmm.
just like 87th, 86, it goes down, right? So
Hmm.
in Detroit, the main miles is 8 Mile, and it goes all the way down to 5 Mile, which is Finkel Avenue. And the lower the
Hmm.
miles get, the worse it kind of gets, right?
Oh
So,
wow. Hmm.
um, and it stops at 5 Mile. Like that's where in terms of miles, that's where it's at. So, um, I would say that, growing up where I grew up at and understanding, the dynamics of being sheltered and how my mom sheltered me. When I got to Chicago, I kind of like had freedom. And I was like, oh,
Hmm.
this is what this feel like? Oh, I ain't got to go to class. Oh, I ain't got to do this. I ain't got to do that. So it's one of those things that, I didn't the biggest asset, it's not money, it's not real estate, it's time.
Preach, preach.
Time, right? Like I wasted so much time. Just a lot of it, I don't want to say in all fairness, but a lot of it in all fairness was me trying to figure out me,
Mm.
right? Figuring out what makes me tick. Unfortunately, I did it at the dime of on scholarship and loans and things of that nature. But I wouldn't have taken so much time to get my degree from Loyola. I'm 2 classes away from having a second degree. Like I just didn't really know. I was scared of the unknown in terms of
Mm.
what I was going to do with my life. I knew I've always been business oriented. I always had a passion for real estate, but I just didn't know the direction of what does that look like. I didn't have someone that was guiding me, right, mentoring me down that path. And so I kind of ran from it, right? And so that me running, I should have graduated in 2004, realistically speaking. I got to Loyola in 2000. I should have been out of there in '04. It took 7 years to get a degree is asinine. However, what I've learned from that experience is, you have to execute,
Hmm.
especially as a minority in this country. I when I was mentoring our young people, I'm not mentoring any longer. Um, but when I was mentoring our young people, I would always say, you got kids in Bali, they got kids in Bangladesh that will eat your shirt. They are that hungry. And you really have to want it, right? Like you don't have the time, you don't have the luxury to just sit and joke and play, and we don't have that because we have real work to do, right? We're
Hmm.
we're trying to be change agents for our families, for our communities, for our culture. And in order to do that, we need all hands on deck, right? And so I would tell myself, hey, look, stop BS and you got to get on the horse and make it happen.
I hear you, and I love that you called out the fact that time is our greatest commodity. You can't buy more, you can't make
Uh,
more, right? So I love that you call that out. So at the end of this, we talked about this before. I'd love to give you an opportunity to give a call to action, have people think about, how they can do more. So how can we as a broader Loyola community or, Detroit community, Chicago community continue to support your vision? What does that look like?
Great question, Rock. I appreciate you. So for the past 23 years,
Mm,
we facilitated the program at a local college, which is called Mary Grove College. Our offices were in a suburb of Detroit, and then we practiced at another suburb of
oh
Detroit.
my.
Yeah, we were all over the place. And
Yeah.
as of late, we were donated a very large facility. In the past 2.5 years, we just finished in January an extensive $13 million renovation of a 40,000 square foot facility in the new center area of Detroit. Our grand opening is taking place June the 12th. Our website is www.collegecareerbeyond, all one word, collegecareerbeyond.org. Um, I'd ask that, we've been recognized nationally. We've been on Gail King show. We've just a couple weeks ago we were in Wall Street Journal. During the Masters, the big golf tournament, the Masters, you may have recognized if for the golfers that people that watch the golf tournament, we were featured during the Masters. Bank of America featured us and showed a commercial that they came to Detroit and created specifically for the Masters.
Mm,
Um, my call is simple. We need support. I think we have something very unique here. Would love for it to be a nationally recognized program. We have the proper IP and what it takes to get there. But in order to get there, we have to raise the dollars. And I think that, by these next 5 years, we're in a, I'm not going to call it a capital campaign because we have the facility, but we're in a legacy sustainability plan over the next 5 years where, and as I am the development officer for the organization, I'm in charge of raising $35 million for the sustainability and long-term play of this facility that we have. And so I just encourage folks, to come learn more about our work. I can be reached. My number is 313-655-5102. My email address is jmalone, JMALONE, at collegecareerbeyond.org. Um, Folks can, I'd steer people towards their website and make a donation. That would be really, really, really helpful.
yeah. I was hoping you'd go straight to the point, let people know how to donate, the fact that you're trying to raise funds, how much you need, and where to go to do that. Because this is a special story here, and it's very impactful. And I think this is a great way for people to participate and help support.
Yeah, no
So
doubt.
I'm actually, so this is the part where we love the most. I turn it over
Uh-oh.
to our audience for questions, and it looks like we have a few comments and questions here. This is from Dawn. Jason, I'm so proud of you, classmate. Congrats on your success of your organization. Does your organization have an alumni program? So I guess with respect to Loyola, being connected to Loyola, is there a
What does that
connection?
look like?
Mhm,
Yeah, we do. So again, I said it earlier, what got us here won't get us there.
mhm,
We are in the process now of building out our alumni network and what that looks like and how we're going to activate that. Now that we're in this facility, we can do some things that can kind of help us, get more acclimated with our young people. Um, we've got some amazing success stories. Um, the number one chef, you appreciate this, Rocky. I know you're a foodie. The number one chef in New York City, the James Beard Award winner in 2024, a two Michelin star chef is a gentleman by the name of Charlie Mitchell. And my phone is known as Little Bro.
mhm. Oh,
Charlie came through the program, and we're working on some things with him. But another young lady, Mariah Moore, the last three Tom Ford fragrances that were designed, she designed them.
No way.
Yeah, like we've got some really, really cool success stories. We got a young man that is a PGA pro that's teaching in Dubai right now, Michael Harden. Like we've got young people. I just saw in the questions here.
I was gonna read the next one for you, Jalen.
Jalen just graduate. Jalen just graduated from.
I'll go ahead and read Jalen Fuller's comment. Jay, not a question, but I wanted to say thank you, man, for guiding me in the right direction. Your love and support and kindness towards me has helped me get to where I am now. Getting a master's degree as a Black man, come where I come from, is a testament. And that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Jalen.
Yeah, I
This,
get them.
this is,
I get.
yeah. And this is why you do it, right? This is why you do it exactly that.
Yeah, Jay,
Um,
man, that's my little guy.
Hey, Jalen. Thank you for that comment. Kathy, hi, Jason. Your old friend, Kathy here. Kathy Pirro. I don't know if you remember her. If you can
Yep,
make your
yep.
program
Hey,
better,
Kathy.
yeah, if you could make it better, what would you do or what would you change?
I think we're on the precipice right now to doing something really special with this new facility. I think it will allow us to help more young people. I think what we were just talking about, and that is strengthening our alumni base. We've got thousands of kids across the country and that are doing some amazing and fascinating things. I can't tell you that, the we got the next Tiger Woods that we produced, but I can tell you we got doctors and attorneys,
Yeah,
accountants, and like we have something that we're able to produce. And so the answer to that is, to make it better, Kathy, I think that if we increase and strengthen our alumni base, that will make our organization better because now we're tapping into the young people that we've poured into
yeah,
at a larger at scale, right?
yeah, absolutely. Nikki Tate has several questions for you.
Nick,
Have you
what up?
considered have you considered a partnership with schools in the South, like my alma mater, Jackson State University? Eddie Payton led that program for decades. If you consider it, how can I help you? Hashtag HPBP proud. Oh, wait, sorry, HBP proud.
Yeah, no, we have partnerships with some schools. Mainly a lot of the HBCUs would be Claflin University, Harris Stowe University, Delaware State, Michigan State, Eastern Michigan, Wayne State University. Would love to, Nikki, if you have any relationships that you can send our way. We do have kids at Jackson State currently. So, feel free, please. Nikki, you know how to get in contact with me. Just send me that information and let's make something happen.
Okay. So let me mix it up here. I'm gonna go to Michael King here. Um, oh, sort of jumped my cue here. What does Tiger Woods think of your golf mentorship program?
I don't know if Tiger even knows about our work. I know that the PGA of America they recently gave us their national grant last year, $250,000 to build out our facility. So they helped us design the golf that's so 20,000 square feet in this new building that we have is all dedicated towards golf. So we're in lockstep with the PGA of America. We have real friends there. They've been with us since the beginning. I can't tell you about Tiger. I don't know if Tiger knows about us or not. Yeah, so I can't speak to that.
Yep. Um, that's interesting. It would be cool if he did make a statement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, so let me skip around here and go to Rashawn Liddell. I'm in the process of developing an organization that focuses on teaching Black students Mandarin. That's pretty dope.
That is.
I lived and worked as an educator in China for 10 years after graduating from Loyola in 2004. Any advice in terms of sponsorship, partnerships, and most importantly, getting buy-in from students and really parents? And I hear that a lot. The parents are kind of hard to convert. So
Yeah. And so what's the question?
He wants to know if you have any advice on like sponsorships, partnerships, and then getting buy-in from students, like just wanting to be a part of the program and parents allowing and supporting their kids in that program.
Yeah, I think for us, I can speak from experience with us. You have young people that, for us now, we don't advertise anymore. I mean, like, they know in September orientation for CCB is coming. We need to be there, and they come prepared and they come dressed and all that, ready to go for the interview and the whole nine. What I would tell you is, before we got to this level, we were, you know, partnering with schools that, that we would attend the local high schools that didn't offer a lot of that didn't offer golf, one, and after school programs. And parents here locally, kids are always looking for extracurricular activities because they cut a lot of the arts and crafts here in the school systems here in Detroit. So kids were always looking for things that, if you didn't play football or basketball or baseball, you know, what else could it be? And so, I would say, look at companies who support, you know, extracurricular activities, that support foreign language. Um, I would also say, look at organizations that align with the work that you're doing, and approach them first. And then you got to build your base. For years,
Hmm.
while my mom built this program, I was in Chicago. And then when I
Hmm.
came back, I started to leverage my relationships. And now, my friends and corporate partners and people that I know in the corporate community are now engaged and are online with us. But, you gotta build out what you are and what you represent, and how you want to deliver that program. You got to start there and then work your way through it.
Awesome. So I'm going to go through, we have several more questions, but I'm going to encourage everyone who's listening today to contact you. Um, Directly, to see how they can support your organization above and beyond just providing funds. They kind of want to get involved. I see a lot of questions like that, or they have direct questions on like mentorship, doing programs and things that are similar to yours. So I'm going to go ahead and direct them to you, um, and hopefully that works. Hopefully, and then if I miss anybody, you can always just reach out to us as well directly. We'll give you information at the end.
Kev,
So
what's up, man? I see you, Kev. What's up, family?
yep, he could see the answers here, the questions here. So hey, says, yo, big bro, big bro Kev here. We are very proud of what you and your mom have built. Thanks for the inspiration. So I think we'll end the Q&A on that note. That's how kind of we all feel. So thank you, Kevin, for saying that. I'm super proud. I said I wasn't going to date myself. I said, you've been working on this for 2 decades, but I'm even older than you are. You're my little brother. So
Rocky, when I first got to Loyola, when I first got to Loyola, Rocky literally lived across the street from me. And when Nick and Joe High and Steve and all the guys would come up and hang out, you was right there. Whenever I needed something, Rocky, you always been like a big sister to me. So thank you for making me feel at home in Chicago first,
yes.
and showing me the ropes. And I also was president of BCC too. Bam, there you go.
Bam. I love it. The legacy. I think
Yeah,
we have several presidents of BCC on the line today.
yeah.
So we have a few, hopefully some of you can stay. We have some great information here at the end. Jason, thank you again for your time. Everyone here kind of has your information. They can ask you more questions and how to get involved. And hopefully folks donate as well. I'm actually going to pivot over to some more information about our organization. I'm going to hand this over to our president, Karen Fleshman, to close us out with more information about the Blacklight, sorry, the Black Alumni Board.
Thank you, Rocky, and great job at moderating this. This was an incredible night. Jason, I must say, I am so thoroughly impressed with you and just so happy that, we've got some connection here, with Loyola. Your Jesuit teaching came through in every word that you said tonight. You are definitely a person for others, and how you have giving your mom such accolades and your relationship and your respect for her and has been, really incredible and just so I loved hearing it.
Thank you.
Also just yeah, so how you have you just transformed young people's lives, maybe things that they never possibly would have thought about, and being connected with you and part of this program, has just changed them tremendously, I'm sure. And so you should be very, very proud of that. And as it relates to golf, I actually played golf for a couple of years. I actually learned through the Skokie Park District.
Okay.
And I was working for a company that you couldn't be in leadership and not play golf. It was a regular every other week thing.
Yep.
You know, Friday we leave early and go to the golf course. And so when you talked about leadership and deals being made on those golf courses, I mean, it was an incredible learning experience for me,
Uh,
where you're sitting on that golf cart and, you're listening to people talking about like, who they're going to fire and, who is going to be promoted and why. And it was it was life changing for me.
it,
Um,
it's success and leadership run parallel to the game of golf.
yeah, I would agree with that. It's mainly, I think, from the perspective of the connections you make.
That is
Like now,
correct.
I wasn't a good golfer, let me tell you that, and but I had people, in my foursome that was really building me up, and so, when yeah, it was, yeah, the connections and the relationships were like the main part.
Yep.
And some of them I'm still in contact with today.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so this was pretty incredible. Some of the nuggets you shared. And then also, one thing we talked about before the meeting, the event, we definitely want to connect you with Loyola. You're connected with some other schools. We want to connect you with your alma mater, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely. For
and
sure.
Loyola has an NCAA championship team for men's golf.
Okay.
So
I didn't
I'm
know
sure,
that.
yeah, I'm sure that um, the athletic director, Steve Watson, would love to connect with you.
Yeah, please. I would love to connect with him as well, Karen. So when you have time, please, make the introduction and we'd
Yeah.
love to share with him the work that we do.
Yeah. And just finally, from my own perspective, just like sitting here and listening to you and knowing the impact that you've made, with so many young people, I'm just full, just hearing about it. And um, it just makes me think about like myself and people on the board, and we're all about other people, making other people better. It's not about us, it's about, what are you doing for others? And like your work has been spectacular.
I mean, thank
5,000.
you. Thank you. Yeah, close to 5,000. We've been I mean, it's this journey has been it's been one hell of a ride.
And then I should say, I probably should have said this first, and foremost, I know your mom is very proud of you.
I hope
So
so.
I'm sure she is. Okay.
Sometimes act like no, my mom, in all seriousness, my mom and I are like more like brother and sister than more like mother and son. So when me and my mom fight like brother and sister. So and everyone that's on this call that knows us, they know that my mom and I, but we have a very, very, very close relationship, and I adore my mother,
We heard that in everything you said tonight.
and what she's, I would say, ultimately the sacrifices.
That's what we do, mothers.
Right, but
Okay.
my mom sacrificed a lot, so super thankful for that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again. We really appreciate your time tonight. And I'm sure all the audience would agree with me when I say it was just a spectacular presentation. And like I said, the nuggets that you shared, they're life changing. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for your
I'm
time.
honored. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm here to help. So I would, if I can get more, activated with the alum association and how I can help from afar, please don't leave me out. And would love to as we, as we begin to, essentially grow this thing that we have. Chicago obviously would, it's my second home. I as I said on the, before we started, Chicago taught
Yes.
me responsibility. It taught me how to be, it turned me from a boy into a man, and I learned a lot of life lessons in Chicago. So I'm super thankful. I got godchildren in Chicago. I have roots in Chicago. So I'm very, very, very appreciative of my Chicago experience, of my Loyola experience. And I wouldn't be who I am today if I had not went through, you know, that walk in that at that point in my life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so of course, as we have a call to action as well, in terms of the Black Alumni Board, the Black Alumni Association. So we have implemented the Mamie Till Mobley Scholarship. And so, if anyone would like to make a donation, the information is here on the screen. Um, we are very honored to have named the scholarship after Mrs. Teal Mobley. She graduated from Loyola with her master's in education in 1972. So we're really proud, like the same with you, Jason, to call her an alumni. So, yeah, and like I said, if anyone would like to make a donation, the information is on the screen here. And then also, Jason, you brought up the point about getting involved with the board. Here's some information, regarding like our email and how you can connect with us on social, LinkedIn, and also Facebook. We will be implementing a Instagram page, so we're kind of working on that strategy. And in April the 21st, we actually had a general meeting session, to talk about the work that the board is doing. And so, we will continue with that process in terms of getting more people involved, over the next couple of months. So just wanted to kind of bring up that point as well. And I guess, again, I think that's another point we have here. We have an event on June the 13th. That's Friday, June the 13th, with the Latino it's the Black Alumni Board and the Latino Alumni Boards and Associations. We're going to have a rooftop networking session. And so, we're really excited about that. And so if you're available, and you're in the Chicagoland area, we would love for you all to join us. Okay. And then save the date. Alumni Weekend is coming up October 17th through the 19th. We will have a reception, a Black Alumni Association reception on October the 17th. And so during the evening, and there will be more information about that coming out over the next couple of months. But that's another, if you can save the date. So Jason, if you have, the time, it would be a good opportunity for you to come and, have alumni weekend here in Chicago at Loyola, if you're
I
available.
should. I need to be there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I should be there. Let's see if we can figure this out. Yeah,
Okay.
I know what's going on a golf trip in October, but I might not be going now. I may have to come to that.
Okay. Yeah, we would love to have you. So yeah, we will have an event on the 17th, primarily focused on the Black Alumni Association.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make
Okay.
sure I'm there.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, close out this meeting. Again, Jason, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate the time of everyone who in the audience. I'm sure you enjoyed this presentation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us through our contact at Alumni Relations, Natasha Webb, or you can contact us through the Black Alumni Board's email address on Gmail. So have a good night, everyone, and thank you all for coming. So is that anything else we need to share, Rocky?
Nope, that's it. You did it, Karen. Thank you so much again, Jason, and thank you everyone for joining. Have a good evening,
Thank you,
and
guys.
see you
Appreciate you all.
the month after
You.
next.
Peace.
Peace out. Take care.